One more time, it's another eLive Unplugged. I'm your host, Judith Bodley, and this time around we're speaking with singer, songwriter, arranger, musician, the very talented Benjamin Myaz, but we know him as Benji Myaz.
My first recollection of hearing you sing would be the song I keep humming. I love you. Sing for me.
It's a cover.
Of whose song?
Randy Crawford, an American R&B jazz soul singer, Randy Crawford. Most people know her doing the famous track, Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Knocking on.
Why?
Why did you cover that one in particular?
I was working on a series of tunes, originals and covers, and the night I was recording Love You High, I felt it in my system, I could tell. It was one of the first times I recalled playing a line and getting goosebumps on my own body from my own recording, right? So you say, that feels good. So I figured the song, something was in that, is a spiritual connection with it. And with that conviction, I moved forward to releasing that track as my first.
Was there anything that you were going through that led you to choose that song?
The song I used to sing 10 years before I recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been singing the song in the hotels when I was working on the North Coast. It's a popular song for me that I love. The radio played it sometimes, and I would turn it up when I hear it, so I figured there was a connection to it. I mean, in a realistic sense, I would say, of course, that's something you feel, you know, whether it be for a family member or a personal affair or whatever, but it's a strong love song. So I was connecting with the words and the music and all of that one time.
Where did you go?
In Hanover.
In Hanover?
I'm from Haddington.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to put Haddington is when I was growing up, we knew of it as a district, and it's the only time I saw something credibility was when President Julius Nyerere from Tanzania came through Haddington with Michael Manley and opened Nyerere Farms. So I remember that was, I realized Haddington was significant by the time we saw that. So we are up in the hills, 2 miles from Hopewell, Haddington. So, you know, Hopewell is the main town all the way to Sandy Bay, to Lucy. There's a detour in the square. And, you know, it takes you all the way to Ramble, to Nakalva, back on the other side, to the south side.
Nice.
Yes.
Son of a pastor?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that growing up.
I'm the last of 8 children. My parents passed recently. 8 children. So I'm the last. I'm 6 boys, 2 girls. Very strict family. My father also a justice of the peace and a bishop for the county of Cornwall. So we were like the first family. We went to different churches all the time, turned up and sat together. And if you want to use the bathroom, you have to seek permission from your mother. So it was a very, condensed. It was, regulated. We lived in the churchyard, and my mother also was a teacher. She started Haddington Basic School. So we actually were living in the yard where there's a church and there's a school and a house. So we didn't go nowhere.
You sang in church?
No, I didn't sing until late in life.
Played music in church?
Yes, I played. I've been playing since I was 7.
How come?
Because I have other people before me that was singing. My sister Joan Myaz sang with Grace Chillers. She's also a gospel singer. Dave, Junior, Daniel, Julian, everybody was singing, but I did not see myself as a singer. I saw myself as a musician. I was responsible for making sure the rehearsals were good and the sound was set up. So I didn't see myself as a vocalist until way down into the 90s, after doing all that, traveling and coming around to finding your own niche and your own calling.
Which instruments do you play?
I play several instruments. I'm trained to play the string instruments and the brass instruments. I'm a brass and string player.
Who taught you to play?
Music? My first experience was my eldest brother, Junior. And I saw Daniel, another brother, playing bass, and it looked a little bit more. Junior taught me the guitar, but I wanted a little bit more room because the guitar was a little conformed on the fretboard, so the bass gave a little bit more room. So I saw Daniel with the bass, it looked a little bit more hip. So I was moving towards, as I started playing bass like about 10, but I first learned guitars at 7. But then when you go to a school like, we went to Herbert Morrison. When you go to a school like Herbert Morrison, it's a subject. Music is a subject. It's taught there since 1976. We have to big up Professor Judith Grimes out of the Indiana State University at the time. Mm-hmm. She started the music program in Montego Bay from 1976. So Herbert Morrison still has a functional music program that teaches the theory of music and a practical band program until today. So we got a chance to really do development and the whole thing. We got to learn the whole of the stuff at Herbert Morrison. That's where I learned the theory of the music. And so from there, we move on to the North Coast, where we played in the hotels. Had a chance to play 6 nights per week. So the experience started doing most of the hotel work.
We absolutely have more on Benji's journey over on the other side. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching eLive Unplugged, where we're catching up with Benji Myaz.
Tell me about the first song that you wrote.
Actually, I wrote a whole album, a whole R&B album. Nobody ever heard it. I still have it on cassette. Those songs, I don't even remember the titles. I was writing out of my own vibe, The songs, I don't even remember the names, but I have a whole R&B album.
So how come you haven't sung those?
I just bought a cassette player. Because remember, the times have changed. So I had to go back and get a cassette player, a deck, so I can listen to my tapes again.
So that's how you write? You do audio?
Yes, I document. Mm-hmm. I play with my instruments and I'm just vibing sometimes.
So suppose the cassette get destroyed?
Hopefully. They say you could bake them, take them to a specialist and bake them and demagnetize them, remove the moisture off the tape itself. I'm hoping that it will be working, but I just bought a deck actually, because we didn't have a cassette deck for years. I don't have any other copy because we never have MP3 files to put in another folder. You would have to bounce the stuff out from a track that we're coming from that era. So those are the first set of songs I did. Out of that project came Show Your Love, one of the songs I brought to life, Show Your Love, which was recorded on my first album. Mm-hmm. Because that one is one of them that we did complete and could have had a playback of it. So, but from that era, I have a whole heap of original songs from that time. I'm talking about from the 80s going to school. But the most popular song I ever wrote, I would say that Jamaica would probably know, or when I wrote Conversation for Third World, mm-hmm. and produced that song. That was the original song I wrote.
How are you writing them? You're playing the music and then you hear the words, you come up with the melody first, what?
It varies. Sometimes words, sometimes I have grooves, sometimes I have a bass line, sometimes I have a hook line and there's no verse. I've had hook lines for 6 months and there's really no verse, and so you don't go searching. Sometimes you have to allow that to just flow and then it comes back. So then I will have lyrics and I think about the concept, how I want the words to come across. If I want it with beat, if I want it a little bit in terms of the mood, in terms of legato, if laid back, more balladish, or sometimes the words will decide the vibe of the song. Not like today where people build beats and you write. That's not saying much to me, because a song is a story and it has elements that it has bridge. You cannot just fit a song on somebody's rhythm. The song wasn't composed for that. I think that sometimes take away from the essence of the tune. Because then the rhythm fades, the song fades with the rhythm. Because sometimes the rhythms are disposable. They expire very quickly. So you would put a nice lyrics you had on a beat that it won't be playing in the next 6 months. The song won't be playing.
So the song dead?
Yeah, but it's still a good song. And I've heard it many times, especially in reggae music, where you hear a good song, but the rhythm is dated. And then selectors would say, the track old. It can't be. Music don't expire. you know. But you can also enhance it and give it more longevity by how it's composed and produced.
You are an arranger. What does that mean?
I take all the parts and synchronize them and make the final decisions for the production before it goes to a production stage. The arrangement is the first stage of the song, the composition and arrangement. So I really cannot decide the beats per minute, the bars, if there's need for extension of bars, if there's a bridge to cross, if there's a modulation, if there's some type of additional instruments, we could suggest this to a producer. So I'm all in one. I'm an arranger, I'm a producer. So I make decisions based upon the personalities, depending on my role at the time. As an artist, I have to produce me as an artist, which is sometimes complicated. But I rather do that than have someone dictate to me to be what I'm not. I produce myself according to my abilities and also my own limitations. I try not to do things that is out of my ability to reproduce, which makes no sense. Without technology, I do the things that I can, because I don't need technology all the while to play back what I am playing, right? You want to be able to do it if the light goes out, you know, and we have to entertain. Some people won't be able to do that. So I make my music where I can strip it down to the keyboard alone, to a guitar alone. So I think about that when I'm composing. I say, what happens if we go to a show and we have a power out and we still have to play?
Yeah.
Or we go to a place and somehow there's a disaster, but people need music to entertain and to relax. Then who does that? If you don't have a laptop, you don't have a computer, you don't have a desktop, you don't have a Mac, you don't have an instrument to plug in, what do you do? So I know how to play the acoustic piano. I play the acoustic bass. I play the acoustic guitar because of training and formal learning of music. So I'm always looking at music like that. What if, you know, we have to make music and we don't have the right equipment or the desired equipment? Can we still do it? You have people today who, if they see a grand piano and they're keyboardists, they could never play it because there's no transpose button on it. Because today people transpose the synthesizer. Oh, what key is it? F? I move it and I tune it to F and I play in the same spot. So music comes back to feel and what you hear. It's not so much about where you studied. I was given a scholarship to the prestigious Berkeley College in Boston at 21. The first Jamaican in Western Jamaica. I applied when I was 18 years old. I got through. By the time I was 21, they auditioned me. You know, I didn't get to finish school, but at least I'm just saying that's where my head was at the time.
Why didn't you finish?
Hurricane Gilbert came the same time. It was a change in everything. It was a change in levity. And my first daughter was born after the storm, and there was nothing happening. We were all stuck. So, you know, Chevelle was born. I was 21, and I chose to be a father. And I took her to live with me as a single father. I didn't go back. You know what I mean? Because I figured that I would have to do more for her, especially during that time.
As a single father?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Good experience. I think one of the greatest experiences. Daughter is 30. You know, we talk about it recently. Reminisce. 2 daughters, you know, one is young, 21. But Chevelle, I live with her because I took her when she was 3. You know, because I was not sure I could leave her in Ocherous, you know, Buckfield.
Mm-hmm.
She's from that area, and schooling was over there at St. John's. And I popped up on her one day at school, and I thought it was the right thing to do to keep her. And actually have her close to me. Like that was for me, like, it kept me disciplined, kept me focused. Then she started going to Stella Morris, then she went to Morris Nib. Morris Nib gave us a good chance because Bobby Digital is across the street from Morris Nib. So I drop her at 8 o'clock and I'm spending the whole day with Bobby until school finishes.
So you're a single dad. What does that mean? It means that you can cook?
Everything.
You can plait hair?
You can wash, no.
But you can iron school uniform?
Yes, I can do all the things that I prefer. You know, I had a helper, you know. The helper coming in, I like to cook. I don't like to do the other things.
So happy you're with us for another stimulating episode of eLive Unplugged. This one is with Benji Myaz, and you do not want to miss what he has to say after this. It's television's most interesting interview. It's the final segment of eLive Unplugged with the extremely talented Benji Myaz.
You lost your mother in September of 2019. Were you close to her?
Very.
What was that experience like for you?
Traumatic. She was healing from us losing our father.
Was he ill?
My dad was ill for a while. I didn't come home, and I live in Kingston. I didn't come home. I stayed with my mom in Hanover, for comfort all through Christmas, January, all the way up until about April. I went to Orlando to master my EP, Roots Rhapsody. And I just couldn't wait to come home because I knew she wanted me back here. So came home, and then I told her I have to go try and push out the music for the summer. And that's it. Went to Atlanta and kept talking to her daily. And there was this one man in a car, she was sleeping, and my brother, who is the eldest one, he was home with her since my father passed. He stayed home, he's retired. So it really kind of damaged me because I was supposed to talk to her today. And he said she was sleeping, so I told him not to wake her, I'll call back. That was a Saturday. The Sunday morning, I called her again. I think she was eating. I told him I'll speak with her afterwards and didn't get to talk to her. She passed in the evening. I was just about to have a meeting there in Atlanta for the alumni, Herbert Morrison. We're having a homecoming 2020, so I was on my way to the meeting. And I got a call that she had fallen. So it was really devastating.
What's your greatest memory of you and her together?
Wow. So many. She calls me on my birthdays to sing. Every time. That's usually a very special thing. She calls me and wakes me up with a happy birthday song. You know what I mean? Like, I never know of that before. I don't know of it happening before with any of my brothers neither. But she would always give me a call on my birthday to remind me.
When is your birthday?
April, 6th of April.
So you're going to miss it?
Yes.
This time around?
Yes. And, special things Mom does, the counseling, sitting at her feet. She's always on top of me, making sure, as a last child, that spot check. I get my regular spot check, and always. And then my mother bought me my first 5-string guitar. There was a time when the bass was popular with 4 strings, and she went to America, and I'm here in the hotel, and I'm thinking, I would like to try a 5-string guitar. My mom went away, and I'm saying, who can I call to bring that back? I called her. I said, Mom, I'm trying to change my instrument. She didn't even wait. She sent it. She sent the guitar without a case. She was so happy to. She ordered it from the factory. And it came to the airport. It was damaged because she didn't put it in her case. So, it's just things like that. She put me on my path with my music.
Now, walk me through the journey of your professional career in Jamaica.
The professional journey began when I was, I would say, with Lieutenant Stitchy. That's really where it started. When he was signed to Atlantic Records, and he came to Montego Bay to form. He was looking for musicians to form his band. And so we saw him in our hotel. We were at the CVM Beach, which was closest to the Bob Marley Center originally. People might not know it. In Freeport, where Sunsplash used to be held. So before there was Sumfest, there was Sunsplash, which is coming back. And Sunsplash used to be down at Freeport. There's a Lagoons right now where the venue used to be. It's called the Lagoons. And all the stars would stay by Seawind Beach Resort. That's where we played. So I met Stitchy. I saw him in the hotel. I thought he was just another guest tonight, hanging out in the hotel. So, he was there until the band was finished. He was still hanging around. He started talking to us, trying to form his band. So I went on tour with Stitchy. And I became the band leader for the band called The Army. Coming back from tour with Stitchy, I back and forth on the North Coast. Dr. Paul was the bass player for Rhythm Kings. He left. Rhythm Kings had hired me to play bass. I did that for a couple years, backing up everybody. As a dancehall band, backing band, we would play for everybody. I knew everybody before that, and then I was doing Reggae Bash one night in Ocherius.
This is Carl Young's White River Reggae Bash. Right. And Carl Young, of course, owner of IRFM.
IRFM, right. And after Reggae Bash, again, because of the connection in the Old Church, I said I was going to come back to town the night after the show. I stayed in Old Church and woke up the Sunday morning and was walking on Main Street, and I saw Hope Tannibert, which is the son of Toots. Just walk up into me. He's like, yo, yeah, I'm telling you, I just, God make me see you, because Daddy I go up on tour and me have to go do Reggae Sunsplash, you know, me I go to America and Daddy I go to Australia, and I think you're the right person to go. It's like, wow, yeah, that would be cool. Because I told the band the night at Reggae Bash, I said, this is it. I quit that night.
Why?
Just like that. I was kind of tired of it. Backing band thing. Because, you know, we had gone through border clash. That's when they throw bottles on the stage and whole heap of thing did go on, thousands of bottles. And you get to a stage where you don't want to be on the stage and people going to disrespect the band or violate the band because of an artist who is not performing right or doing the right thing. And after Reggae Bash, I heard some things that was said about the band that I didn't want to be a part of anymore.
Who are some of the musicians that you like to listen to?
Flying Robbie, Family Man and Carlton Barrett. Those Marley set, the whole Alan Dixon, Tyrone Downey.
What about them?
The Wailers band and the Black Uhuru time. And that was what it was. It was the militancy. It was the consistency. It was the decibel. The music was strong. And like we spoke off here before, it was Jamaican. They really represented us. So we could see our musicians playing reggae music and winning a Grammy. Wow. It's like, didn't have to play R&B. But then you had Slide on Barrow was doing stuff with Gwen Guthrie. He was doing stuff with Eric Clapton. So I would watch them. I would watch these musicians who were stepping out of the box. And Handel Tucker, also one of my favorite musicians. Very good musician. Taking control of a studio, making music. Stephen Stewart, Stephen Stanley, great engineers. Barry O'Hare. I watch everybody. I watch everybody. I look, you know, I respect and acknowledge these talents because everybody learn off everybody. And I'm sure they feed off me too. Everybody comes with something else. So in terms of a local American, I've always listened to Stanley Clarke as a bassist. I listened to Wayman Tisdale, who was a popular NBA player in Oklahoma, but he was a bass player also, doing his own thing. He died recently. Everybody can check about Wayman Tisdale, very, very good. Marcus Miller, I listen to classical music again. I'm trained, I come from the classical era. I listen to Mozart, I listen to Tchaikovsky, I listen to Beethoven. So I listen to everything. I am an open listener. I'm not limited to any style because I'm one that believes style separates us.
As this decade starts, what should we be expecting from Benji?
My desire is to the next level, the level, you know, when you honor your parents, you have, you know, you don't get to do the things you want to do, because especially in Hill Health, honor is like a commitment. You stay with them. I feel my mother's spirit is with me strong, and she keeps telling me to go. So that's what I want to do. The kind of things I never did. We got a chance to sign up with Rebel Salute for their performance this year, coming up. We're going on a couple run with me and Lieutenant Stitchy again. I'm working with Stitchy again. We're doing stuff together. We've always done stuff since 1988, 89. Just the next levels, the other levels to explore. I want to be out for a minute and stay there for a minute and explore and see where I can take it. I have some projects, other projects differently, which is not just a Benji Myaz project. I have a project called the Jamaica Jazz Masters I'm working on, which is an all-star project. It includes very talented individuals coming together in one unit. So I experienced this going to Anguilla for 20-odd years. Moonsplash is all-star settings. We've been doing it. So I thought it was a good time to record it, because we've been doing it for a long time. Me, Third World, Junior Jazz, Cat Core, Ruption. We all play at the Moonsplash Fest. It's called the All-Star Band. So I figured we've never rehearsed. We've never practiced. No. we just run through some songs, show, we're doing the sound check for the show, and we say, okay, we're going to play these songs tonight. Because everybody is like on that level. So I thought, what if we did this in the studio? So I started recording the project, 5 songs so far. It's an instrumental project. So I'm doing that. I'm also open to work with children with artistic problems. I plan to do more with that, using music as a form of therapy. So I'm on my quest. I'm taking my time. But I want to also build me because, the music business can wear you out, especially when you're not really giving due respect and the love that you duly deserve from the people around you. The fans love Benji Myaz, I must tell you. Never seen a fan that give me a bad vibe about Benji Myaz. But the industry players and the so-called leaders, I don't know. I don't know if it's, I read where, you talk about, the Bible tells us about jealousy and envy. So, because we never experience it in that form in the family, we don't even know about it until we come into the street. So maybe that's what it is. Because people would know you can, you have the ability to do something, but they're not going to push you on to the next level. You have to pay your dues according to them. So I've been paying my dues and I'm humble. I'm not even complaining about the spill milk. I'm just saying it for what it is. So we put aside all politics. I'm poised to move forward with myself. And whether or not I get the support of an industry that you rely on, like I said, we can go into different markets. I want to play jazz shows. I want to take my singing and my music to international venues that can accommodate and have space for it. Because again, the scripture says you can't cast your pearls to swine. So you don't sit around hoping that you'll be loved in a place where you're not needed. You have to take it where you have to take it where people can appreciate it.
All right, then. He's Benji Myaz putting a wrap on another E-Live Unplugged. Remember, you can catch the repeat on Saturdays at 7. There's a brand new Unplugged every Friday at 9. I'm your host, Judith Bodley. See you next E-Live Unplugged.